fight is just like life. It's the closest thing to life that you're ever gonna find. You gotta fight for everything. You gotta stand up for yourself. You get knocked down, you gotta get back up. You understand me?
Most people that aren't fighters, they can't see that. To them, it appears physical, Roy.
Yeah, it appears physical, but there's so much more that goes into it mentally than you'd ever know. Fighting is the closest sport to me that's comparable to life, to everyday life. That mentality is what you must learn to have. That's what animals taught me. The animals taught me that you always carry yourself as though you're the boss. Because when people see you, they know that's a boss. If I want to be the boss, I got to be that boss. Because that boss is a boss. That's how he carries himself. That's how he thinks. That's how he eats. That's how he drinks. Everything about him is the boss. And if you don't have it to start with, then he's not really a boss.
What's it going to be like on the 28th? And how is it going to play out?
You're going to see a guy who is always most confident. And when I look across the ring and see that kill over there, I'm going to laugh because guess what? There's a bear across the ring. And guess what I'm about to do? My job tonight is to walk over there and poke that damn bear, piss him off, see what he can do. I am still Roy Jones. Y'all must have forgot.
The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go? This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is... This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Roy Jones Jr., the American boxing champion, trainer, commentator, and entrepreneur. You began boxing professionally in 1989 and have won 66 professional fights and 12 titles across the middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, and heavyweight divisions. You're the only boxer in history to start your career as a junior middleweight and go on to win a heavyweight title and are widely recognized as the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time. In 2003, you won the WBA heavyweight belt, becoming the first former middleweight champion to win a heavyweight title in 106 years. On November 28th, you are set to face the former undisputed heavyweight champion Mike Tyson at the Staples Center in Los Angeles as you both make a comeback to the ring with you at age 51 and Mike age 54. The fight is available exclusively at Fight.tv and Triller in the US and BT Sport here in the UK. Roy, welcome to London Real.
Thank you, my brother. So glad to be here.
Hey, thanks so much for coming. I appreciate it. Roy, for people that have never been in a fight in their lives, what are these last few days of preparation like? What is the mental process? Do you go kind of quiet? Do you go introspective? Or, what is it like these days before a bout?
You go a little introspective, but you also go about trying to figure out, or realizing how good life has been, how good God has been to you. You try to appreciate the things that you've accomplished, the things that you've tallied in your life. It's very important that you reflect on your life and know who you were, who you are, because nothing promises you that you're going to come out the same. So you have to get your one or two last glimpses of life as it was. Get your last few words out to anybody you need to fix anything up where you need to fix that, because you never know what tomorrow holds. So when I get down to the last moment, it's like getting ready to go to war in a sense, because when you get on a plane to go to a war, you don't know that you're ever coming back. And that's the same way you do in a boxing match. You don't know that you're ever going to be the same. So when you get down to the last few days, you just kind of reflect on your life. You show your appreciation. You enjoy what you've done. And if you really love fighting, then you feel like it's the happiest time in the world for you.
Huh. Have you always had this gratitude ritual, or is this something that you appreciate more as you get older?
I've always had that gratitude ritual, always.
Wow. And is this ultimately why you fight then, to give you those moments of clarity where you can be grateful for having this opportunity to be alive?
I wouldn't say that's necessarily why I fight, but I do know that that's part of why I am who I am. Because if you don't appreciate things, then if you don't have something that'll make you appreciate it, then you'll take it for granted. But fighting makes me appreciate it, because, like I said, I know anytime anything can happen. I mean, look what happened with Nigel Benn and Joe McClellan. Joe thought that was just going to be another fight that he'd win, and look what happened, never fought again. So you have to know that, take those things into perspective before you go in the ring, because any day can be your last day. Tomorrow's not promised to nobody.
Yeah, I had Nigel Benn in the studio years ago when we talked about that fight. And I remember I started that interview off and I said, Nigel, you're a boxer. He said, no, I'm not a boxer. I'm a fighter. He said, when I go in there, I don't know if I'm coming out. And it's serious business. But I think a lot of times as a fan, we don't see that aspect of it.
You don't see the aspect of it and you don't hear the aspect of it. And that's why it's so different with even other sports, because sometimes people don't understand that when you go into a fight, it's not guaranteed that you're coming out.
I think you once said, and this is a quote from you, you said, quote, I'm from a world where it's about animalistic survival. The animals don't run, they don't make excuses, they don't cry, they fight, they win, or they die. Is that mentality you're talking about?
That's exactly that mentality I'm talking about. And so many people take that mentality for granted or don't get the fact that this is life, this is what it really is. So, we get away from things like that, yet like I said, what confuses me is that, like, even in my country, this country, you have to take, and at 17 years old or 18 years old, you have to sign up to be drafted to a war. And if you get drafted to a war, you got to go put your life on the line. And for most kids, it's something that they never even thought of, something that they never even had a nightmare about. They know nothing about putting their lives on the line at 17 or 18 years old. Are you serious? But if a war breaks out, they have to be signed up to be shipped off to war. But they tell you that they don't want you to associate with animals or anything like that will fight to the death. And I understand what they're trying to say, but if you're gonna send my kid to fight for the death, to the death and put his life on the line, at least give him some parallels or something that he can relate to give him an idea of what he's about to go face.
Do you think we're too disconnected in this world where, it's about the Netflix and the Starbucks and we don't have a real appreciation for how valuable our life is because it's not tested on a regular basis?
We're far too disconnected. We're so disconnected that we got to walk around now with masks on that's supposed to prevent you from catching a disease, that they also tell you why you got a mask on, that you got a social distance. Wait a minute now. If the mask is stopping me from getting the disease, then why do I have to stay away from people with it? Does that make sense? If the mask is stopping anything, then why do I have to stay away from people too? Because, and if I can wear the mask, but I can take it down to eat. Well, it don't take but a second for you to inhale and get it. So if I can take it down to eat, then why am I wearing it? Because if I take it down to eat, if the disease is anywhere around, I'm gonna catch it. So if I took it down to eat, then why do I have to even put it on? And like I said, once again, it's proven that people that have been wearing the mask still come up with the disease. So is the disease really about the mask, or is the mask about something else? It's hard to really say. So I choose preferably not to wear a mask, because if I get it, okay, I get it. If I don't, okay, I don't. But I don't really care, because if I wear a mask, but I can take my mask down to eat or drink water, then I'm still making myself available to whatever virus this is that they're talking about. So I think life has gotten so bad, and people are used to getting bullied now. People get bullied into everything. They're bullying us into wearing masks. They're bullying us into taking vaccines. It's just all about being bullied now. Everything's about bullying you. The same one thing that they always talked about not happening is what's happening to us now. Because if you don't wear a mask in certain places, you can't go. You can't participate. You can't shop. You can't do anything unless you have a mask on. A mask that does not stop you from getting this virus, because if it did, then why would we have to stay 6 feet apart? Which also is not a good distance, because if somebody sneezes, you need to be 15 to 20.
To continue watching the rest of the episode for free, visit our website londonreal.tv or click the link in the description below.